Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about a question we get asked constantly.
I think I know this one. What do I do if I don't have anyone to practice English with?
Exactly that. Today we're talking about how to practice English speaking alone, even if you don't have a partner, a tutor, or anyone around you who speaks English.
I think this is such an important topic because a lot of learners feel stuck, thinking real progress is impossible without a conversation partner.
That's such a good point to start with. Is it actually true that you need another person to genuinely improve your speaking?
Honestly, no. It definitely helps, especially later on, but a huge amount of real progress can happen through solo practice, especially in the early stages.
That's really encouraging to hear. Let's talk about why solo practice actually works before we get into specific techniques.
Sure, speaking is a physical and mental skill. Your mouth needs to physically practice forming English sounds, and your brain needs practice organizing English thoughts quickly.
And both of those things can actually be trained alone, without needing another person present.
Exactly right. A conversation partner adds real-time feedback and unpredictability, but the core physical and mental training can absolutely happen solo.
Let's get into the first technique now. What would you recommend as a starting point?
The first technique is simply talking to yourself out loud in English throughout your normal day.
Can you give some examples of what that actually sounds like?
Sure. Describe what you're doing like, I'm making breakfast or I'm getting ready for work, simple present moment narration.
So it's almost like giving yourself a running commentary throughout the day.
Exactly right. This builds comfort forming English sentences quickly without the added pressure of anyone listening or judging you.
What's the second technique you'd recommend?
The second technique is answering imaginary questions out loud, questions you might realistically be asked in daily life.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure. Imagine someone asking, "How was your weekend?" and actually answer out loud as if you're really speaking to someone.
So you're rehearsing realistic, common questions in advance.
Exactly right. This builds a mental library of ready answers, so you're not searching for words during an actual, real conversation later.
What's the third technique?
The third technique is recording yourself speaking on your phone and then listening back afterward.
Why is listening back specifically so useful?
Because it helps you notice your own patterns, your common mistakes, your pauses, and even your pronunciation, in a way that's very hard to notice while you're actually speaking.
So it's a form of self-feedback, replacing the feedback a real partner would normally give you.
Exactly right. Over time, this habit alone can dramatically improve your self-awareness and your overall speaking quality.
Let's talk about shadowing now, since I know we've mentioned this technique in previous episodes too.
Right. Shadowing works perfectly for solo practice specifically. Listen to a short sentence, then repeat it immediately, copying the rhythm and pronunciation as closely as possible.
And this trains both your listening and your speaking at the exact same time.
Exactly right. It's one of the most effective solo techniques, precisely because it doesn't require another person at all.
What's the fifth technique you'd suggest?
The fifth technique is reading out loud from books, articles, or even simple English sentences you find online.
Why is reading out loud specifically helpful compared to just reading silently?
Reading out loud forces your mouth to physically practice English sounds, and it also improves your natural rhythm and pace while speaking.
So it's not just about understanding the words, it's about physically producing them too.
Exactly right. Silent reading builds understanding, but reading aloud specifically strengthens your speaking muscles and pronunciation.
Let's talk about summarizing content out loud now as another solo technique.
Sure, this is a great one. After watching a video or reading an article, try summarizing what you just learned out loud in your own words.
So you're actively producing English based on something you just consumed.
Exactly right. This combines comprehension with active speaking practice all in a single simple exercise.
What's another technique, related to storytelling specifically?
Practicing storytelling is really powerful too. Pick a simple event from your day and tell the entire story out loud from beginning to end.
Can you give an example of what that might sound like?
Sure, something like, "This morning I woke up late so I quickly made coffee and then I rushed to catch the bus." Simple, connected storytelling.
So you're practicing connecting multiple sentences together, not just single, isolated phrases.
Exactly right. This builds fluency and natural flow, which is exactly what real conversations actually require.
Let's talk about debating yourself now, since I think this is a slightly more advanced technique.
Sure, this one is really fun actually. Pick a simple topic and argue both sides out loud by yourself.
Can you give an example of a topic someone might use?
Sure, something simple, like coffee is better than tea. Argue in favor first, then argue against, switching your perspective completely.
That sounds like a great way to practice more complex, persuasive language too.
Exactly right. This technique pushes you to use more advanced vocabulary and structures compared to simple, everyday narration alone.
Let's talk about using apps with voice interaction now, since technology has really improved for language learners recently.
Definitely. A lot of apps now allow voice conversations with an AI which can respond and even correct you, similar to a real conversation partner.
So even without a human partner, technology can now provide some level of real-time interaction.
Exactly right. These tools aren't a complete replacement for real conversation, but they're incredibly useful, especially for building initial confidence.
Let's talk about mirror practice now, a technique some learners find really helpful.
Sure, this simply means speaking in front of a mirror, watching your own mouth movements and facial expressions while you talk.
Why would watching yourself specifically help?
It helps you become more aware of your pronunciation, and it also builds comfort with how you look and sound while speaking English.
That's such an interesting technique, combining physical awareness with speaking practice.
Exactly right. A lot of learners feel less anxious speaking in front of real people after building this kind of self-awareness alone first.
Let's talk about pretending to teach someone now, since we mentioned a similar idea in a previous episode about vocabulary.
Right. This works really well for speaking practice too. Imagine explaining a topic or a concept to an imaginary student entirely out loud.
So you're forced to organize your thoughts clearly and speak in complete, structured sentences.
Exactly right. Teaching, even imaginary teaching, naturally improves clarity and structure in your spoken English.
Let's talk about setting a timer now and speaking continuously without stopping.
Sure, this is a great fluency building exercise. Set a timer for 1 or 2 minutes and speak continuously about any topic without pausing to correct yourself.
So the goal here is pure fluency rather than perfect accuracy.
Exactly right. This trains your brain to keep moving forward even through small mistakes, which is exactly what real conversations require.
Let's talk about combining techniques now, since I imagine mixing different methods works better than relying on just one.
Definitely. For example, you could read a short article, summarize it out loud, then debate a related opinion, all within a single practice session.
So variety keeps solo practice both effective and genuinely interesting over time.
Exactly right. Mixing techniques prevents boredom, and it also builds a wider range of speaking skills all at once.
Let's talk about consistency again, since I know it's a theme in almost every episode.
It really is, because even 10 to 15 minutes of daily solo speaking practice creates real, measurable improvement over time.
So solo practice doesn't need to be long, it just needs to happen regularly.
Exactly right. Short, consistent solo sessions are far more effective than occasional, longer sessions with real partners alone.
Let's talk about feeling silly or awkward while practicing alone, since I imagine this stops a lot of learners.
This is such a common feeling, honestly. A lot of people feel strange talking to themselves out loud, especially at first.
What would you say to someone feeling that specific discomfort?
I'd say that discomfort fades really quickly, usually within just a few sessions, once it starts feeling like a normal private habit.
So it's worth pushing through that initial awkwardness, since it genuinely improves over time.
Exactly right. And remember, nobody else is actually listening or judging you during private solo practice sessions.
Let's talk about privacy now, since I imagine some learners worry about being overheard.
Sure, if that's a concern, practicing in your car, in the shower, or with headphones on, using a quiet whispering voice all work perfectly well too.
So there are plenty of private, comfortable spaces available for solo practice, even in a shared living situation.
Exactly right. The specific location matters far less than simply practicing consistently wherever feels comfortable for you.
Let's talk about combining solo practice with real conversation later, since I imagine both are important eventually.
Definitely. Solo practice builds a strong, comfortable foundation, but real conversations eventually add unpredictability and real-time feedback, which solo practice simply can't fully replace.
So the ideal approach combines both solo practice as a foundation and real conversation as the next step.
Exactly right. Solo practice prepares you so that when real conversations do happen, you already feel much more confident and ready.
Let's talk about tracking progress with solo practice now, since I imagine it's harder to measure alone.
Sure, one helpful method is recording yourself regularly, maybe once a month, and comparing recordings to notice real, measurable improvement over time.
So you're using your own past recordings as a way to track genuine progress.
Exactly right. This comparison often reveals significant, encouraging improvement that might not feel obvious day by day.
Let's move toward wrapping up today's episode with some final practical advice.
Sure, I'd say treat solo practice as genuinely valuable, real practice, not just a temporary substitute until you find a partner.
So solo practice deserves real respect and consistent effort on its own.
Exactly right. Many fluent speakers built a significant part of their foundation through solo practice long before they ever had regular conversation partners.
That's such an encouraging, empowering message for our listeners today.
It really is. All right, I think it's time to summarize everything we've discussed today for our listeners.
Great idea, let's go through the main points.
First, real meaningful speaking progress is genuinely possible, even without a conversation partner.
Second, narrate your day out loud, describing simple everyday actions in English.
Third, answer imaginary questions out loud, rehearsing realistic common conversations in advance.
Fourth, record yourself speaking and listen back afterward to notice your own patterns and mistakes.
Fifth, use shadowing, repeating sentences immediately to train listening and speaking together.
Sixth, read out loud regularly to strengthen pronunciation and natural speaking rhythm.
Seventh, summarize content out loud after reading or watching something in English.
Eighth, practice storytelling, connecting multiple sentences into a complete natural story.
Ninth, try debating yourself, arguing both sides of a simple topic out loud.
10th, explore voice interaction apps for some additional real-time practice.
11th, try mirror practice, building comfort with how you look and sound while speaking.
12th, pretend to teach an imaginary student to improve clarity and structure.
13th, use timed speaking exercises, prioritizing fluency over perfect accuracy.
14th, combine different techniques together to keep solo practice varied and engaging.
And finally, stay consistent and track your progress by comparing recordings over time.
That's such a comprehensive practical summary. I really believe if listeners try even a few of these solo techniques, they'll notice real improvement even without a partner.
I completely agree. Solo practice truly is powerful, valuable, real practice, not just something to do while waiting for better options.
Well said. All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode.
Thank you so much for listening and for practicing your English with us today.
If you found this episode helpful, try talking to yourself out loud for just 1 minute, right after this episode ends.
Great advice as always. Take care, everyone, and keep practicing consistently.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.